Failing is not necessarily a bad thing, it is simply just a part of the game. For most of us, the biggest game that we're all playing is something I like to call the game of life. It's this process where we are leveling up through life by acquiring new skills, knowledge, experiences, use those things to actually overcome the obstacles in our lives and then reap the benefits from it. Where most people tend to get stuck is when the going gets tough, when things don't really go according to plan, and they run into a situation where they quote-unquote fail. Today's video is about how failure can be turned into strength rather than weakness, and how it can be the key to helping you overcome all of life's greatest challenges. Hey, what's up you guys? My name's Christian. I'm a certified occupational therapist, and on this channel we discuss practical tips and tricks on how to level up through life while keeping the game fun and exciting. Here's an important fact about failure. How you deal with failure is going to determine whether you're going to exponentially grow or you're going to stay stagnant and actually not make any significant progress in the game. When you fail, it's not necessarily the end of the game. All it means is you get to restart the game with better skills and experience this time around. Failing is actually your opportunity to grow, to learn, and to level up. Without failure, you're not going to be able to see the things that's going to need improvements. And because of this, whenever you're pursuing any sort of goal, it's not really a matter of whether or not you're going to fail, it's when you're going to fail. You see, for most of us human beings, we all have relatively similar goals, right? We all want to be healthy, we all want to be wealthy, we all want great relationships, and we all want to be happy. All these goals are lifelong pursuits. You're going to constantly trying to figure out how to get better and better at it. And along that path, there is most likely going to be many moments where things are going to get extremely difficult. So at least for me, while I'm playing the game of life, I try to really anticipate failure, right? I'm not really afraid of it because I know it's going to happen eventually, so I might as well just get myself ready for it. I personally feel that if you go about life trying to make everything too perfect and you're getting so stressed out and so emotionally charged whenever things go wrong, then things get really difficult to actually, get through. It was much easier for me that whenever I failed, I kind of was pretty lighthearted in my approach to it. Like, alright, what really went wrong? How can I get about it? I try not to get so angry or disappointed at myself. Like, yes, of course there's a little frustration right there because things didn't go work out, right? But I try not to make it too personal. I understood that it was all part of the game, and tried to really kind of make it a little more practical, like what can I learn from this moment? A really important mindset shift that you have to have is that really do not be afraid of failure. You want to kind of anticipate it and welcome it because it's telling you how you can move forward with your goal. At least that's what I found is really important when it comes to the whole concept of failing. Now, accepting failure and being okay with it is simply just one part of the equation. You also want to take responsibility for the things that you're failing at. You see, failing at everything doesn't necessarily mean that it's automatically your fault, but it is still your responsibility to deal with all the aftermaths of that. A great example I want to give is the whole concept of money, because right now it's quite common that in our economy a lot of people are struggling with finances and all that, with inflation, debt, all these different kind of things. But here's kind of what I want to bring to light. There's so many factors that is out of your control, like debt, inflation, what your boss is doing, how much your job is paying you, all these different things. Yes, it sucks, it's probably not your fault that it's happening, but it's still kind of your responsibility to deal with the fact that you're not making enough money. So what I often see is that people will complain a lot about not making enough money and all that, and they'll blame their bosses, they'll blame the economy, but that doesn't really change anything, right? Because the only thing that you can really control is that you need to ask yourself, like, why is this happening? What can I do to change that? And the reason that this is so difficult is because when you do that, you're basically telling yourself like, hey, you're not really good enough, you're messing up, you need to improve. And for human beings, we all have egos, we all want to be right, we all don't really like to admit that we need to improve, we need to do something a little bit better. So it's very difficult to accept responsibilities when things go wrong. But it's absolutely essential that you do this, because only by doing that, only by being humble enough to admit that there are things that need to be improved, can you actually make the improvements to get better. The majority of individuals are going to take the easy way out and actually blame other people, blame other individuals, and we see this all the time. These are the individuals that is really going to stagnate in their growth, because if they never accept responsibility when things go wrong and they only accept responsibility when things go right, then they won't really see how they can get better and better. They're going to stay at the same level, and you do not want to be like that. So in order to take responsibility for failures, you want to ask yourself 3 questions. The first is, what could I have done differently? Second is, what can I learn from this experience? And third is, what can I change in the future? That's all it really takes, right? It takes a really strong individual to admit to themselves that they have to take control for the things that are going wrong in their life. So simply just try this out. Whenever things go wrong in the future, ask yourself, like, what could I have done a little differently? Could I have done something a little bit better? Could I have planned things accordingly? Could I have prepared ahead of time? Second is, ask yourself, what do you actually learn from this failure? What are little tips and tricks that you picked up based on, what what really went wrong. And lastly is, in the future, if a similar event happens or I want to actually be better at that thing, how can I actually do things so it's a little different? And that's all it really takes. And most likely when you do this, you will still fail the next time around, but you will be a little bit better. If you continuously do this again and again and again, it's almost impossible that you're not going to improve at anything, right? And this is actually how the most successful people in the world actually got so good at their craft, right? They were willing to fail again and again and again, and they're constantly critiquing themselves, asking themselves how they can be better, how they can learn from the experience, and how they can improve on the future. And this is essentially the path to continuous growth. And by the way, if you're enjoying the video up to this point, make sure you smash the like button. It's the easiest way to let me know this kind of content is stuff you want to keep on listening to, and it helps me with researching better topics when it comes to my future videos. Now, when you start to take responsibility for your failures, you start to develop a really powerful trait, and that is confidence. By overcoming failures again and again and again, you start to build a belief system in yourself that no matter what really happens, no matter what really goes wrong, you understand that you have the capabilities to overcome it. This is really the trait that makes the most successful people in the world. When it comes to artists, athletes, professionals in their careers, they have understood that they have honed their craft to a point where they're not really afraid of any variables that may happen. The big myth around confidence is that people tend to feel that it's a natural trait that some people have, some people do not, like extroverts have it, introverts do not, but it is very untrue. Confidence is built by doing something so many times that you are so sure on your ability to accomplish it, that if things go wrong, you know that it's simply just another little pebble that you need to kind of overcome in order to learn and get better at it. You really just need to understand that nobody starts off good at anything. If you're trying to pick up something new, if you're trying to pick up something you've never done before, there's a very high likelihood that you suck at doing the thing, right? But the goal is to continue doing that thing so that in the future you'll suck a lot less, that eventually you'll be good. I mean, that's essentially the whole plan, right? So you do not want to be afraid whenever things don't go wrong or you're not good at something. You simply have to tell yourself like, alright, I did fail, but how can I continue to get better and better at it? And the more you do this, the more confident you'll feel at doing the thing. And confidence is one of those traits that really compounds to many different areas of your life, right? The game gets a lot more fun, you make a lot more progress, and you simply have a better idea on how to structure things up and what you need to do to continue getting better. It is an extremely powerful trait that you need to fail in order to build. You're not going to automatically be confident just by reading a few books or going to a motivational speech and all that. You need to do the difficult things and be willing to go through failures in order to build that self-confidence in yourself and understand that you have the abilities to overcome the most difficult trials in life. That's about it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and go ahead and check out this video over here for more content just like this. As always, my name is Christian1, and I'll see you guys in the very next one. Take care. Peace.